The Woman of the Year award goes to Dylan Mulvaney.
Iranian money, not American taxpayer dollars.
But a lot of people here are here for their Instagram stories.
The Woman of the Year, according to a UK magazine, is none other than a dude. Iranian money. Should we unfreeze it? Will they be able to use it for terrorism? Anthony Blinken weighs in. Also, Israelis say that people should evacuate the northern Gaza Strip and the border. More information from a congressional report that completely contradicts Alejandro Mayorkas. All that more coming up on this episode of Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Jobob. Daily Caller Live starts right now.
Brown guy and her name Jobob.
That is actually her name, Jobob.
Live from the dingy bunker that is completely and utterly and totally cut off from the entire outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in on today. It is Friday the 13th, October, year of our Lord 2023. Spooky. Actually, a day of jihad. Now, I don't know how seriously or how much to joke about that. I am hoping that nothing is going to happen. Obviously, if you missed this, one of the leaders of Hamas on Wednesday, former leaders of Hamas said on Wednesday, Friday today should be a national day of jihad, which you can look at one of two ways. One, you can be scared about it, which, you know, some people might be. You could be cautious about it. There's also people that are making light of it. And kind of, I kind of like this approach, kind of taking the approach of, yeah, what are you guys going to do about it on this national day of jihad? And saying things like, the sales this year on the day of jihad aren't nearly as good as last year. I'm looking forward to Prime Day. Again, making fun of the situation. Not the dire situation going on in Israel, but the Hamas global day of rage, I think is what it's called. Yeah, so I know people might, I don't even want to say are tired of hearing about this, because I don't think anybody's actually tired of hearing about this, but it's a lot. But just to catch you up really quick on what's going on today in Israel, the media seems like they've already shifted towards the, is Israel doing too much now? Which I think is crazy, because the way that I see things is, you know, if there's an existential threat to your overall existence, what other choice do you have to go in and eliminate the threat? And if the threat is shielding themselves using civilians, that's on the threat to get civilians out of there. But of course, that's not, again, I don't need to rehash all of this. But Israel has said yesterday that if you live in the North Gaza area, you probably should evacuate, at least go down to the southern Gaza area, because they are lined up on the border with a bunch of military force. I think 300,000 Israeli soldiers are on the border of Gaza, and are just going to go eliminate Hamas. And if you're actually looking at it as a sober-minded person, you're kind of thinking, what other choice do they have? And that's, again, I don't want to rehash the entirety of the debate that we've all been having for now a week. But at the end of the day, yeah, if somebody is the group of people that hasn't been completely eliminated is willing to come into your home and brutally murder, what is it, 1,500 people now? I don't know what the actual number is now, because it keeps moving. What other choice is there? I don't know. And it's also fascinating to see how many people are either pro-Palestine or just anti any American involvement whatsoever, because, no money to Ukraine or no money to Israel. It's a stupid, you can't put those two things together. But again, we won't rehash that. But I did want to play this clip. I think this is one of the more sober-minded clips I've seen of a guy on a college campus talking about what's going on the college campuses in reaction to the protests of pro-Palestine, which is pro-Hamas, which is therefore pro-killing innocent people indiscriminately. So watch this and we'll discuss on the other side. Check it out.
My cousin was killed there. I've seen images, we've all seen the images of women raped. However, people come here because they want to check off the list of the box, right, of the progressive box. And there's nothing progressive about killing children. There's nothing progressive about, murdering people, kidnapping Holocaust survivors, or beheading babies. I said, name 5 cities in the West Bank, and he couldn't. But again, he is not directly involved in the situation. And again, I hear people's pain, right? I really, really do. But a lot of people here are here for their Instagram stories, and there's people's lives over there at stake.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That kind of seems to be the case with Instagram, and there's a book that I've read into a lot. I haven't read it yet, but it's called Under Dogma. But the entire, I guess, premise of it is the dogma that is created out of solely going in favor of whoever the underdog is at the moment. And that's how the human psyche just works for some reason. If whoever's the underdog, that's who we need to be supporting at all times, which is just it's a weird way to look at the world, but I think that's a lot of the reason why you see so many free Palestine protests, signs, Instagram posts. And that guy said it right there. I think a lot of people are just here for their Instagram stories. And that is no way to make geopolitical policy endorsements. Not that those people's endorsements do much, but, it lets the rest of us sane people know that they exist, which is, ugh. I also tweet, truth or threaded one of the. I asked the question yesterday, and I don't actually know. I would love to figure out what does free Palestine actually mean. Like, what is that objective? Like, you see so many signs, at least I do, either on the college campuses we go to. I didn't see any yesterday. Candace Owens and I were at Georgia Tech last night in Atlanta. I didn't see any free Palestine signs there, but we did at UCF with Charlie on Tuesday. But what does that mean ultimately? Because I guess I don't know, and nobody that I've come across has been able to explain it to me. What is the end result of quote unquote free Palestine? The Romans gave the name to that region, Palestina, and apparently that name for that region has stuck clearly. And so does it mean that everybody needs to leave the region? Or does it mean that people who moved there in the last 100 years have to leave the region? Or does it mean that anybody who lives there should have free reign of anywhere in that area in which you're going to see violence and bloodshed? Does it mean that Jews as a whole need to live? Like, what does it mean? I don't know what free Palestine actually means. It's just another one of those floofy sayings that I don't know has any real tangible, actionable thing attached to it. It's just one of the yay, like the Obama hope and change. None of those things are strategies. Anyways, it's going to be really, really, really freaking fascinating to watch what's going on. Not only it's not fascinating to watch what's going on in Israel right now. It's fascinating to watch the media cover what's going on in Gaza, and the wobbling on support for the country that got brutally attacked is apparent now and will be shifting fast. So that's going to get interesting. Let's see. Geez, there's some of you people in the comment section. I appreciate you for watching, but some of y'all are nuts. And I think you might know it too. Jody points out this under the direction of Iran and others. Yeah, that's another thing I want to talk about today. So this $6 billion that the United States gave to Iran, big deal 2 months ago. There is some clarifying here, and there is some interesting movement on it now. There's been the case made at the beginning of the week. Well, hold on. We unfroze Iranian money or money that Iran has access to, but we can freeze it again? Why don't we just do that? And so yesterday, early yesterday or the day before that, the Biden administration said, yeah, we are actually going to refreeze that money. But here's the problem. Antony Blinken, Secretary of State, has been going around saying things like this. I'm going to play this clip for you. This is him on... I'm very tired, and I'm fuzzing on all of the names of the shows. Nightly News with Lester Holt. This is him with Lester Holt talking about the $6 billion going to Iran, and says a lot. Well, he says a lot in not all that much time, and a lot of it's wrong. Check this out.
Now, when it comes to $6 billion, it's important to be very clear because, unfortunately, some people are either misinformed or they're misinforming. The money in question, Iranian money, not American taxpayer dollars, is money that was allowed to accrue in a bank account from the sale of Iranian oil. What we did is we moved the money from one account in South Korea to another account in Qatar where the money could actually be used, but under the supervision of our Treasury Department, only for humanitarian purposes, and not a dollar of that money has been spent to date. And we retain the right to freeze that account.
Okay, so he's saying a lot there. First thing that he said up front was this is Iranian money. It's not U.S. taxpayer money, and it's been made from the sale of oil. Okay, who buys oil? Does the government pick the money from the money tree and then use that money to pay for Iranian oil? Or wait, hold on. Is it possibly taxpayer money? But wait. He said it wasn't taxpayer money. And I understand what he's saying, and maybe it's somewhat of an unfair point. But to say, oh, this is not U.S. taxpayer money, it's Iranian money they made from purchasing it. Okay, well, then who purchased it? Was it just, again, magically, the money just magically appeared from the government money tree that they've been hiding from me and I don't know anything about? And if we have a government money tree, why do I have to pay so much money in taxes? I just got a tax bill for a property of mine, and holy cow. It's one of those things every year you get reminded of, oh my gosh, this is an insane amount of money. And I understand that's not federal taxes. I get it. I don't comment talking about that. But bottom line is, hey, if the government has a money tree, how can I get access to it as well? If the government is the people, by the people, for the people, I am one of the people, I deserve that money tree too. Or is it the case that, yeah, it is taxpayer money, just in a different form? Then he goes on to make the point of, well, we've moved that money from Korea to Qatar, and we have absolute control. The U.S. Treasury has absolute control over where that money goes, and it only goes to humanitarian causes for Iran. Okay, we've made the fungible argument over and over and over again. It's like, okay, well, so then the money that they were going to have for humanitarian aid in their country, they'll just put that money towards the terrorist stuff and then use the money that the U.S. is unfreezing for them to pay for that. The fungibility argument has been made over and over and over and over again, and even pushed back on him. But I think the bigger question is that now that the Biden administration has refrozen that money, the question is why? He's gone on all of the talk shows, given press conferences, talked to a bunch of people how there's no way that this money could be used for terrorism. So then why did you freeze it? Again, I am pro freezing the money, right? I'm pro the United States refreezing that money. And I think the political push from both sides of the party is freaking freeze the money again. But if you're so confident that it's not going to go anywhere else towards humanitarian aid, other than humanitarian aid to Iran, then why give in to the political pressure? Or is it the fact that, yeah, the fungible argument is a good argument, and there's now too much political pressure to where you just have to capitulate and do the thing that everybody freaking wants you to do? I think that's funny. So either he's lying here saying, no, there's no way that this could possibly go to anything else, or it doesn't matter. It's classic politics. You got government people saying this cannot absolutely not happen, and even though we think that it can't happen, we're going to do this other thing anyway to make sure the thing that we're saying can't happen doesn't actually happen. Bunch of weirdos. Anne says this: Blinken is such a weakling. That's a thing. You just get a vibe from Blinken, and it's not his fault, but he just kind of seems like a meager, tepid guy. No, we don't want to do that. That seems so bad for it. It could be bad, possibly for somebody. I don't know. But that is that. I realize I said we're not going to go too into this today, but yeah, we already did. Just really quick, I wanted to bring this up. This is apropos of nothing. We're not really talking about this today, but somebody, a detractor, probably, Tim says, I love watching the daily division of the Republican Party. They can't even agree if the grass is green. Yeah, the Republican Party looks like a bunch of clowns right now. Again, we're not really talking about this whole speaker situation, but holy cow, the Republican Party is not a serious party at the moment. And for all of the people that are going to be offended by that comment, know this. Everything that Matt Gaetz said about the money not working for the people, the government being a big uniparty, and all of these things, that the people have the right to not be taxed to death. I agree with every single thing Matt Gaetz said. And also, booting out the speaker of their own party is stupid. Why? And I think I mentioned this on Instagram the other day. Of like, look, if you want to be a hardliner on these sorts of things, you have to have basically a voter mandate. In other words, you have to win freaking elections. When the majority is this tight, you don't get to not compromise. In other words, you have to compromise if the thing is this tight. And if you don't want to compromise on conservative values and beliefs, which I don't, by the way, I don't want to compromise. But if you don't want to compromise, you have to freaking win elections. And so, yes, Republican Party, you can stand on your laurels and lose everything, or you can fight the incremental battle that you can fight now and then work to win elections. And if you don't win elections, you can't be hardliners. Anyways, the Republican Party is just a bunch of freaking clowns at the moment. And so even though there's I don't know, I would imagine Tim, by this comment, does not really agree with what's going on in the show. I agree with you there, Tim. I would love for Republicans to stop social media fundraising and losing. Why is okay? Never mind. Speaking of things that are losing, this out the other day. This is from the New York Post. Complete change of topic, utter change of topic. 99%, according to a congressional report, 99% of illegal immigrants who have crossed into this country are still here, that have crossed under the Biden administration. In other words, we've deported absolutely freaking nobody. The Biden administration has left 99% of them. In New York Post, why are we also saying migrants here? It's illegal immigrants. And I even get caught up saying that because that's the terminology nowadays. The Biden administration, I'm going to change it, has let 99% of illegal immigrants who have come across the border since 2021, over 2 million people, stay in the country, according to a new congressional report released by House Republicans earlier this week. The report found that at least 2.1 million illegal aliens have been released into the United States by the Department of Homeland Security from when Joe Biden came into office until March of 2023. So, geez, there's still a lot more that's gone on since then. A mere 6% of illegal aliens released into the United States were even screened for fear of persecution in their home country, said Jim Jordan, the House Judiciary Committee chairman. In other words, of all of the 2.1 million illegal immigrants that come to this country and that are quote unquote seeking asylum, only 6% of them were even asked, hey, where are you coming from and why are you so scared that you need to come to the United States? The report finds that only 5,993 illegal immigrants who were tapped for deportation were ever actually seen by an immigration judge and then removed from the country, according to the quote-unquote bombshell report. This is again from the New York Post. This data contradicts Secretary Mayorkas' statement that the southern border is closed, and illegal aliens are removed quickly from the United States. I don't need to keep reading any of this because this is all stuff that everybody knows. But I think we need to be rhetorically arguing on the same battlefield, because you get people like AOC saying, no, these people are coming here legally because they're claiming asylum. Okay, so this report released by the House says that of the 2 million, over 2 million people, 6% of those people, so 12 million people, of the, sorry, not 12 million, 120,000, getting my math mixed up. So 120,000 people of the 2 million were even screened, making the case for being here because of asylum. The way that the UN has their asylum set up is you go to the first country that you enter that is a quote-unquote safe country. But if the rules that we have set up are insane, and I think we need to figure out how to get Congress to address that problem, as opposed to, well, in addition to just build a wall. There's so many tangents you can go off here, because remember last week we were talking about the fact that Joe Biden administration is actually going to now build a wall. It was racist when Trump wanted to do it, but now it's fine. So I guess, but that's that. 99% of people are still here, which is great. Let's do this before we do the Dylan Mulvaney thing, because that'll end. We'll send you off into the weekend there on a nice fun note. But this I thought was funny. Cenk Uygur, who is apparently running for president, born in Turkey, not eligible to run for president according to the Constitution, is now getting hit from all of the sides. What a dumb decision that was. One, thinking that he could get 20 to 25% of the population to vote for him, or the Democratic caucus to vote for him, which is crazy. He got 6% in a congressional race that he was actually running in. And I don't mean to be mean to the guy, because I have no reason to be mean to the guy. But dude, like, you're putting yourself in the barrel for no apparent reason, either out of some delusion that you think you actually can siphon off 25% of the Democratic Party, which I think is crazy. And Aaron and I are just getting hit with all this stuff. There's a compilation of him saying some words that you're not allowed to say, which is also another interesting component. And then stuff like this. This is the new Democratic, not allowed to run, but is running anyway, candidate for president, said this. I love this. If you're not following the defiant L's, you should be. But he said this: I'm done. I'm now supporting the defund the police 100%. I already largely agree with the substance of the arguments, and now I'm down for the framing too. There's no reform or transformation that can fix this. We have to start over and completely rebuild policing in this country. He said that in 2020, and in 2022 said this. Will the people who came up with the defund the police slogan admit they were wrong? It was wildly counterproductive framing. You don't speak for the left, and neither do people pushing the counterproductive abolish prisons. Polls show that almost nobody in the left agrees with you, except for you, Jag 2 years ago. I realize I probably didn't set that up well. Basically, one tweet was from 2 years ago, and the other tweet was from not all that long ago, saying exactly opposite things, which is funny. But we'll move on to this. The Woman of the Year. A magazine in the UK named the Woman of the Year as none other than a dude dressing up as a woman. And I see, this is such a weird thing. The Dylan Mulvaney thing, yes, I'm tired of it, but also I feel bad. Does anybody else look at this situation and just feel bad for like everybody involved? I feel bad for the people that have been duped into this, that think that this is like a thing that everyone should celebrate, and everyone is can do whatever they want at any time, and there's no repercussions societally, culturally. Everything is fine. I feel bad for those people that were duped into that. I feel bad for the average person that looks at this and goes, "What the what is what?" It didn't even make any sense. Let alone having to tiptoe around the people that are super bought in as to not lose their jobs. So I feel bad for the people that got sucked into it. I feel bad for the people that it's getting pushed upon. And I feel bad for Dylan Mulvaney. I do. I genuinely, the dude has some clear mental problems that he's got to sort out. And it's unfortunate. Probably my wife, who's a therapist, would say it's a trauma response to something. And, it's unfortunate. It honestly is unfortunate. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you have to deal with it because this is a pretty pervasive thing in modern society and modern culture. I'm going to play you a little bit of the clip as much as we can handle because I can't listen to it. It's too weird for me. But nevertheless, I'm going to subject you all to the weirdness. And watch the Dylan Mulvaney acceptance speech of Woman of the Year, according to, what is it? Q Magazine, something like that. Watch this. Or don't. You can also just log off the stream now. It doesn't really matter, but watch this. Yeah. Eddie says, not me, I'm gone. Dude, I get it, man. I totally understand. And there's a bunch of people here. Just play the video. Okay, all right. We're just playing it. All right. Here we go. Check it out.
The Woman of the Year award, supported by Virgin Atlantic, goes to Dylan Mulvaney.
Hello, London! I am so honored to be here with you all tonight. And, some see me as the Woman of the Year. Some see me as a woman of a year and some change, as I only publicly came out online 560 days ago. And some people don't see me as a woman at all. I know, which is why receiving this honor from a queer publication like Attitude means so much more to me. Because here's what I've realized. You ready? Okay. So, no matter how hard I try, or what I wear, or what I say, or what surgeries I get, I will never reach an acceptable version of womanhood by those hateful people's standards. But as long as I have the queer community that sees me for my truth, I'm gonna be okay.
That's enough of that. This goes on for like 4 minutes. We don't need to watch any of that, but some of you in the comment section are funny. Ann says, Woman of the Year with a penis. All right. That's kind of funny. Charles says, LOL, what a bunch of idiots. And this is how I feel. Isabel says, celebrating mental illness, ? How sick and sad. Yeah, it really is. I don't know. I don't know what you do in this situation, but I don't think I'm coming from a place of hate. I would probably be categorized by Dylan in the hateful, bigoted, category of people that will never think that he's a woman. No, I don't hate you, dude. I honestly couldn't care less. about what you do. I mean, there's some things that men just can't do if they're going to be women. But if you want to dress up like women, I guess I don't care. But you can't make me say all of the things that you want me to say that are clearly just evidently untrue. That's a weird. Maybe we can dissect that philosophical thought later on, not today. But the idea of this whole like hateful thing. If you're going to call me feeling some sort of sympathy for a person that is pretty clearly lost, and I think most people would agree to that statement, if you're going to call that hate, man, wait till you see what real hate looks like, because that's interesting. But, wow, I thought this was going to be a funnier thing, but now I'm just sad. But that'll do it for us today and for this week. Appreciate you sticking around, tuning in. It's crazy. All the travel that happened this week, we only missed one day on Tuesday. I was in Orlando with Charlie on Wednesday, or Charlie Kirk on Tuesday. And then yesterday in Atlanta with Candace Owens. And you're like, how are you in Atlanta last night, giving a speech, and then are in Southern California today? There was like, I walked off the stage, got in an Uber, went straight to the airport, and thankfully there was a direct flight, which I already booked. I didn't go there hoping, from Atlanta to where I live. And so it worked out great. Got home really late last night, but I'd rather be home than in a hotel. Let's see. We only got a couple. I think we only have 3 or 4 more Turning Point tour stops, which I love doing, but makes doing some of this show sometimes difficult with the timing and time changes and on airplanes and all that sort of stuff. So anyways, all that being said, we only missed Tuesday, so that's good. But appreciate you sticking around, tuning in. If you haven't already, give me a follow on any of your social media platforms. Tickets for, oh shoot, you know what? I think, I don't want to announce this yet because it's not finalized. We are in Twin Falls, Idaho with the stand-up tour plus the improv tour on November 17th, which is a Friday. Tickets are selling way faster than I thought they would. So if you're in the Twin Falls area on Idaho, and then also it's either Idaho Falls or Pocatello or Blackfoot. Another city in Idaho, we're talking with the theater right now to get that date set up and solidified. So bottom line, if you're in the area in Idaho, you should go to the social media platforms, and we'll see if we can see you there. Next week, I am Wednesday in San Antonio with Charlie Kirk and Missouri University. I believe University of Missouri. Thursday next week. So Wednesday and Thursday in San Antonio and Springfield, Missouri. And then obviously the tickets for the comedy tour are available at anywhere you can find me on the internet. But that'll do it for us today. Appreciate you sticking around, tuning in. Have a great weekend. Jody says, have a great weekend. Wow, a lot of people saying have a great weekend. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. But yeah, have a great weekend. Try to, turn off the news media. Have a fun, relaxing weekend is what I'm trying to say. And go to church on Sunday. We'll see you on Monday, same time, same place, probably. God bless America.